All right, thanks, Todd. Well, President Trump issuing his first presidential pardon to former Sheriff Joe Arpaio. And the news sparked outrage on all sides.
The president, decided to use the cover of a Friday evening as well as a hurricane to pardon one of his racist friends.
Just tells a lot of Latinos that Donald Trump does not have your back, does not care what you think or what you feel.
I think there's a larger game here he's playing. He wants to send a signal to the targets of the Mueller investigation that if you hold tight and don't roll on me, I'll pardon you.
But presidential pardons aren't exactly unprecedented at this point in a presidency. So why the outcry here? Let's get into this. The author of Game of Thorns, presidential historian Doug Wead, joins us now with his reaction. So first term, first few months, is this unprecedented, Doug?
No, it's not unprecedented. Clayton, it's good to see you. No, Barack Obama had 1,972 pardons and commutations of sentencing. Bill Clinton pardoned his own brother on cocaine charges. He pardoned Tony Rodham, Hillary Rodham Clinton's brother, who got $400,000 for helping to get a pardon for a friend. He pardoned the FALN, who had left dead policemen all across America and blew up the FBI headquarters in Manhattan. He pardoned Mark Rich, who was on the FBI's top 10 most wanted list after his wife gave $1.4 million to the Clintons, various entities, and the details of that for the first time, all of the details in Game of Thorns. We knew about the $400,000 that she gave the presidential library. So it's outrageous. The difference between the pardons, all of those presidential pardons were for people who broke the law. Donald Trump gave a pardon to a man who enforced the law.
But according to the Speaker of the House, Paul Ryan, believes that he broke the law. The Speaker does not agree with the decision. Law enforcement officials have a special responsibility, he wrote yesterday, to respect the rights of everyone in the United States. We should not allow anyone to believe that responsibility is diminished by this pardon. Of course, he was violated and broke the law, demanding to stop these racial profiling of Latinos and these patrols that were going on, and he didn't stop them. What message does this send to the Latino community, do you believe? That the president does have their back or does?
Well, I believe personally that they're not mutually exclusive. You can love people and you can love the law. My wife is French. My kids have married a Filipino. Another one married someone from Mexico. I have a daughter engaged to a man from Honduras. Another one engaged to someone from Bolivia. I had 10 African young people in my home last summer, helping them get their visas and their education, and had more African young people in my home this summer, helping them. You can love people. I founded Save the Refugees in 1979, was a founding member of Mercy Corps, which has given $2 billion of food and medicine around the world. President Reagan has lauded the work I've done for refugees. What I liked about Joe Arpaio is he stood up for the victims of crime, many of whom were also immigrants who needed protection. Enforcing the law and loving people are not mutually exclusive.
Senator John McCain also came out condemning this. We're still waiting on whether Mitch McConnell is going to release a statement against this. There's some other Democrats, of course, who've come out on this. Doug, I'd love to get your take on this. Here's a Phoenix Mayor, Greg Stanton. The Democrats say pardoning Joe Arpaio is a slap in the face to the people of Maricopa County, especially the Latino community and those that he victimized as he systematically and illegally violated their civil rights. Harsh words.
Yeah, this is politics. I'm hearing them on TV saying, well, the Justice Department should carefully review these cases, as if they carefully reviewed Bill Clinton's brother on cocaine charges. No, the president, I'll stack up those hundreds and thousands of pardons, and I've interviewed Gerald Ford about his pardon of Richard Nixon and George H.W. Bush. I co-authored a book with him. We talked about Iran-Contra, Casper Weinberger. He pardoned. I'd stack those up against the pardon of Joe Arpaio anytime.
Doug, I'm curious from a historical perspective here. This came like on a Friday night when this storm is barreling into Houston. When you had these other pardons, Bill Clinton's brother, when you had the pardoning of Richard Nixon, did they occur on similar circumstances, these sort of different news nights? Where did these fall historically?
Yes, very often it's the case because pardons can be very controversial. Of course, Gerald Ford couldn't hide the pardon of Richard Nixon.
Right.
That was any more than Donald Trump could hide the pardoning of Joe Arpaio. But it may have been that Donald Trump was wanting to soften the blow to people who might have misinterpreted his pardoning of Arpaio. But are you really going to send Joe, 85 years old, who went after the drug cartels in Mexico, you're really going to put him in prison at 85 after 50 years of law enforcement with the DEA and being reelected as sheriff in Maricopa County? I don't think so. I think that was a right decision.
Well, we're going to talk to him this morning. Doug, great having you on the show this morning. Joe will be on our show live this morning at 7:20 Eastern Time. So there he will be.
I'll be watching that, Clayton.
Thank you, Doug. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Have a good morning. All right, coming up here on the show, a Fox News alert. Now back to the situation.